What's up, YouTube? I have 8 foods that cause anxiety. It is important, and I stress this, important that you know what you're putting in your body on a day-to-day basis for overall health, but especially if you're trying to overcome or beat an anxiety disorder or depression. Before we start, please do me a favor and hit that like button if you're ready to kick anxiety in the butt. And leave me a comment down below in the video during or after. Let me know if you know any cool substitutes for these foods, if you've ever come off of these, if you had trouble quitting them, your anxiety disorder, or if you just want to say, hey, what's up? So we're going to jump right into this list. The first one is caffeine. It activates the fight or flight response. One of those things that kind of started a panic attack for me many times whenever I was going through my panic disorder. What it does after I would drink it, often with no water, which I was already dehydrated, and this would dehydrate you even more. It's a diuretic. So know that you need to be drinking your water. 2 glasses is the first thing you should be having whenever you wake up, not just a cup of coffee. Also, I would usually drink this before I ate my breakfast, which was not a good idea. But what it did was it caused me to be more jittery. I was lightheaded. I had more heartburn. My heart rate went up. My blood pressure was elevated, and it would just make me have these, these anxiety symptoms. So I recently cut out caffeine almost 3 months ago. I'm on a streak. It's a health challenge on my channel, so be sure to go check that out. Something that I just wanted to get rid of out of my life for good. Kind of be some motivation for you. So hopefully you can check that out and join me on that journey. Also, you need to be cutting out things like soda and tea. You're gonna cut out a lot of sweet stuff during that process, a lot of sugar, a lot of calories, and that's a good thing. And if you're anything like me, I would pour sugar and milk and creamer into my coffee, and it wasn't healthy anyway. There are benefits to coffee, but if you have anxiety, it's easier to cut this out. So that was the first one. The second one is alcohol. This is actually what caused my first panic attack that lasted 6 hours. 6 hours. A long weekend of drinking finally had caught up to me. Basically drinking nonstop for 48 to 56 hours. Came home, crashed, had a palpitation, had all my symptoms. Lasted 6 hours, thought I was dying. This set off everything. So this is what really started the whole thing. If you're drinking a ton of alcohol and you have high levels of anxiety, you're probably familiar with anxiety hangovers. And basically what that is a night of drinking or a day of partying. The next day you wake up, you're dehydrated, you're having all your panic attack symptoms, your blood pressure, your heart rate's up, you feel nauseated, you're having depersonalization, chills, chest pain. I had all of it. It was like just a hangover, but like I was literally felt like I was dying. It wasn't just I'm sick because I drank. It's like I'm really dying. Also, you can get caught up in this horrible vicious cycle of drinking to feel better, and then you have horrible anxiety the next day, and then you drink to get over that, and it keeps going, and you can become severely addicted. So I would limit this or get it out of your life if you think it's causing you any types of issues. The next one is going to be salty foods. I also cut out salt. It was one of my easier challenges, but I poured this stuff on my food religiously. Poured it. I wouldn't have any vegetables. I mean, I was putting it on fruit, for crying out loud. So I cut salt out. That's another health challenge on my channel, so be sure to check that video out as well and join me on that journey. But salt is not good for our anxiety. It can trigger panic attacks. So one of the things that it does, it makes us retain water so we can bloat, we gain weight. Think about the foods that has a lot of salt. I'm not just talking about table salt. I'm talking about foods that have tons of sodium, are often sugar, high in sugar. They're processed, fried, not a good idea. Also, it's going to raise your blood pressure up and your water retention. It's going to make your kidneys work harder and your immune system's going to go down, which also can negatively affect your anxiety levels. So salt, you need to at least try to cut that out. I cut out table salt. It was very easy. Now, I get plenty of my sodium in the foods that I eat, so I'm right around where I should be. So I'm not having any issues with that. The next one is dairy. All right. I was a big milk drinker. Oh yeah, and I love me some cheese. All right, so that's something that I still need to control. I plan on cutting out dairy sometime in the next few months. It's gonna be another challenge on my video. But dairy is just terrible for inflammatory reasons, all right? It's gonna basically mess up your stomach. It can cause diarrhea, gas, constipation. Technically, by technical standards, 10% of the world is lactose intolerant, but that's a huge number. Alrighty, that's a huge number. But my honest opinion, I think to some level we are all intolerant to lactose, okay? We don't need to be drinking cow's milk. It tastes good and that's about it. That's meant for cows. That's meant for animals. You know, we have breastfeeding for us whenever we're tiny, if that's what we want. But we're not, why are we drinking cow's milk whenever we're full-grown men? I still do it. It's in a lot of the ingredients that we make. Whenever I cut out dairy, it's gonna be hard for me to do. I don't know how it's gonna go down because cooking involves a lot of milk, a lot of cheese, a lot of milk products, butter. That's another one. Just trim down on this if you can. And then maybe move towards that, that direction of actually quitting and putting it down for good. A lot of IBS symptoms can come from that, and a lot of us have those issues already with anxiety, so milk is not going to help that and could make our anxiety go up. So the fifth one is sugar. Good old big old bag of sugar. What sugar does is it makes your brain run at a optimal level. So what is that doing? The growth of our neurons and synapses is actually plummeting whenever we do this. And sugar is in everything, unfortunately. So we have to pick which sugar we're getting. I don't think it's so horrible to get your sugar from fruit, but everything processed basically has sugar, so we have to cut out the processed food. I do a no sweets challenge. I know you're like, dude, you do all these challenges? Yeah, go check it out. It's pretty cool stuff. I'm trying to improve my health. I do a no sweets challenge, so basically, that's going to cut out a ton of sugar. I cut out caffeine, so I'm not putting sugar in my coffee. I'm not drinking sodas anymore. I was drinking like 4 of those a week. No sodas. No, the fast food is way down. I don't have any type of sweet, so that's no chocolate bars. I'm not having ice cream. No more donuts. No more pancakes and waffles and syrups. None of that. I've cut all of that out. I've seen some dramatic improvements in my overall health, but my brain is firing on different cylinders than it was whenever I had horrible anxiety. The next one, food additives. I don't have any of them on hand, but MSG, food dyes, high fructose corn syrup, and aspartame. These are things that are gonna raise your anxiety levels. Aspartame is more common in like diet drinks. So a lot of people think that switching to diet soda is so great, but it has a lot of aspartame. It's also linked to cancer, so be careful with that. MSG, a lot of foods have it, especially if you go to the buffets like I used to do. MSG is all up in that food, especially Chinese food. Food dyes, a lot of processed foods have it, so pay attention to that. And we're not gonna be able to avoid all of these. You have to realize that we live in a world and day and age where almost everything is processed, so we have to start picking and choosing our battles, but you definitely can limit that and go to more natural and whole foods. So I encourage you guys to do that and at least start taking some measures for improvement. Food additives can definitely lead to more anxiety. Number 7, ketchup. Don't we love this? I sure do, but it has a lot of high fructose corn syrup. Did you know that itself is sweeter than table sugar? The sugar that's in this is sweeter than this. Now, that's an eye-opener right there. Also, something that I'm going to put in that category is dressings. They have the same type of sugar. So that's something easy that we can do. Dressing, obviously, they're healthier dressings. I think olive oil is something actually you can start using as well. But just start getting the light versions, and then not just the light versions, start getting small amounts. We kind of pile dressings on our salad. I used to be guilty of this. I do not do it anymore. I get a very, very small amount and toss my salad in it, just so, I'm not overdoing it. And in the ketchup, I know we love them with fries, either small dabs or just cut it out in general. I don't really need ketchup on anything. It's just kind of a luxury, but it's not good for me, so I'm not going to deal with that. And the 8th one, guys, is kind of a general food. It's going to be foods that cause heartburn. Now, everybody is different. I really suffered heartburn, and it was terrible on me. So anything spicy, things like spaghetti and like chili, they would really aggravate my heartburn. Now, there's not a lot of research done on the heartburn foods causing anxiety. This is just something I decided to add onto the list. Not a lot of research done, but I knew if I had foods that caused me to be really full up here and have trapped gas and caused me to have some IBS type symptoms, and especially, firing up my GERD and heartburn, I saw that really, really rose my anxiety levels. I felt like I had chest pain, my heart rate and blood pressure would go up, and it would cause me to have panic attacks. So Be careful if you have heartburn, because this can definitely, trigger panic attacks or anxiety attacks or just high levels of stress in general. So keep that in mind. I hope you guys enjoyed this list. This is a long video. Thank you for sticking around. If you did, leave me a comment down below and say I made it. Alrighty. Join the Facebook group down below for any type of anxiety disorder that you might be suffering, including depression. We're a big family. We help each other out and give a lot of great advice and love. So join that group if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't also, and hit that notification bell so you get updates whenever I have my videos. Like this video if you got some value. Remember to leave me a comment down below about anything. I will get back with you, but I do want to hear some substitutes for these. I want to know your story on trying to quit some of these foods and, improve your overall health. I want to know what directions y'all are going in. So do that. There's an anxiety store down below in the description, excuse me. In that store, there's going to be a lot of books, vitamins, different resources that you should be trying to take advantage of to get over your anxiety. Join my Snapchat, my Twitter, and my Instagram down below. Thank you so much. Also, join my Patreon account. I just made that 2 days ago. It's $1 to get in, and it's just to support the channel, and you get a lot of bonus rewards for doing that. A lot of cool things in there, like photo access. You can see behind the scene footage of me. We do web sessions, so you can do Skype calls and Google Hangouts. A lot of cool things in there, so be sure to check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and you'll have a beautiful day.